The Transport Secretary accuses union leaders of punishing millions of innocent people by pressing ahead with rail strikes later this week.
Let's have a quick look at what the papers are saying this morning. We begin with The Observer and the impending walkout of 40,000 rail workers in strikes next week. That makes a lot of the front pages this week. The Observer saying a wave of 1970s-style economic unrest is threatening to spread from the railways across the public sector, as unions representing teachers and NHS workers also warn of potential industrial action over pay.
Boris Johnson has written for the Sunday Times this morning, urging Western leaders to steel themselves for a long war in Ukraine. The paper says the Prime Minister has called on his allies to hold their nerve and ensure Ukraine has the strategic endurance to survive and eventually prevail, or face the risk of the greatest victory for aggression in Europe since the Second World War.
I'm finally free to be me, says Olympian Dame Kelly Holmes as she reveals she's gay. Dame Kelly is in the front page of the Mirror and a big interview inside it. She tells the paper about the dark times she went through, living a secret life for decades, but decided to come out during Pride Month after a brush with COVID made her realise she wanted to show the world her real self.
And online, one of the most read stories on the BBC website is about workers at an Apple store in Maryland voting to form the tech giant's first retail union in the United States. It is the third Apple store to launch a union drive this year, but the first to successfully hold a vote. After the results, the group tweeted, "Now we celebrate, tomorrow we keep organising." And that follows similar moves by Amazon workers in the United States as well that have traditionally avoided being in a union. And the company said, you don't need to, just come and speak to us and we'll sort it out. But they, in some parts of the US, successfully formed a union, so Apple now doing the same.
Very powerful when it's businesses of that size, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just looking inside the papers at that story we talked about of Dame Kelly Holmes and the agony that she went through, and it's quite shocking reading some of the details. So she talks about how in 2004, she said 80,000 fans were lining the streets to cheer me on, but I was living, sorry, I'm just reading it that way, so I'll try and show you the picture. She was living in absolute dread that somebody would out her because, of course, the former army sergeant said she could have been jailed at the time under forces rules banning homosexuals in the ranks. I mean, it's just not that long ago, is it, for somebody to fear going to jail just for being gay? Incredible. So that moment that she dreamed of all her life, so people were hanging out of windows like I was a pop star, but all I could think of was the terror. Amazing that she lived
She
with that.
talks there about that fear of prosecution, because it's so easy to forget how quickly things have changed, you know, for some parts of the LGBT community. But so that fear of being prosecuted when it was, you know, banned in the forces, said her barracks were being raided in a search for proof of same-sex relationships, and that very much feels like, you know, another era, doesn't it? But
a witch
just
hunt,
as recently as 2004. But and she said a lot of it was about her mental health as well. She said bottling it up triggered breakdowns, left her suicidal. Years of self-harm, including one episode at the World Championships. So she said the fact that she now feels free to be me and able to come out. So congratulations to her. It shouldn't need to be a thing, should it? But happy Pride Month. And Dame Kelly, yeah, congratulations.
I think just the way as well, it's sort of the smiling face that you see with medals round her neck, somebody that on the face of it, you think is full of joy, winning at everything, is carrying all of that pain. So what a moment it must be for her to lift it. Congratulations to you.